Occasional business trips were part of Beverly's job. It could not be said that the trips were very upsetting for the woman. Rather, it was an opportunity to get away from the routine of life. It was at the first stage of married life, Beverly simply could not be detached from her husband. Young crush rose-colored glasses early marriage. By the age of 35, Beverly no longer had those feelings that were in the first years of married life. Love remained, however, from ardent feelings that rather turned into a habit. In addition to the opportunity to relax and unwind from the routine of life, Beverly received an additional benefit. According to the documents submitted to the accounting department, Beverly lived in a hotel. But in fact, in the city to which she was regularly sent by the management lived her twin sister. The sisters, like two drops of water resembling each other, were inseparable as children. Neighbors' children and the yard teachers, everyone confused the girls even sometimes. Substituted for each other in exams, only the girls' temperaments were different. If Emily was more calm, then Beverly already in childhood differed as a tomboy. Before leaving, the woman looked at herself in the mirror and was very pleased with her appearance. Narrow waist, raised bust, gorgeous hips, long legs, a beautiful lock of blonde hair fell on a pretty face. After fixing her hair, touching up her eyes and lips, Beverly headed for the train station. Few hours on the bus, a cab, and then she arrived at her destination. The business meeting had been quite successful. The woman gave a decent report on the work done, provided the necessary documents, received instructions, and was free, and that meant that the rest of the day, evening, and night were at her complete disposal. Her sister welcomed Beverly with open arms. The women kissed on the threshold of the apartment, but there was an undisguised sadness on Emily's face. After taking a shower, Beverly took her sister to the table, pulling out a bottle of red wine she picked up at a nearby supermarket. After a second glass of wine, standard things and long-ago memories, Beverly decided to probe her little sister about the subject of her unconcealed sadness. "Emily, pretty girl, what's wrong with you? I can see you're not wearing your face. By the way, where is your husband? Is he working so late?" Emily was a little nervous, even a muscle on her beautiful face twitched a little. Sisters always shared secrets and worries, but what had happened was too personal, and if it wasn't for the wine, Emily would have remained silent. "Sis, you see," almost crying, Emily began, "my husband is cheating on me." "I think so. Just yesterday I found a very intimate correspondence with a certain girl on his phone. I yelled at him, and you know how quiet my Jack is. He just left the house, and tomorrow is exactly 5 years of married life." "What did it say?" wondered Beverly. The surprise was genuine. While she herself had cheated on her husband more than once using both business trips and her husband's mere absence from home, she had always seen Emily's family as perfect. There was a conversation about some unforgettable gift and that I had nothing I should know. Next, there was an exchange of pleasantries. I think the husband had taken a mistress, fueled by alcohol, having vicious connections behind her back. Beverly began to feel sorry for her little sister, stroking her arm. "You know what, sister? Let's go to a club and dispel your longing," Beverly suddenly blurted out. To be honest, the idea of going to the club had been on her mind for a long time. However, the girl knew perfectly well that her little sister is not a fan of these events. However, now the stars came together in such a way that Emily urgently needed to distract from her sad thoughts. "Yeah, I haven't been there in ages. I don't even have much to wear for such outings." "Don't worry, sister. I'll have a nice dress for you in my closet." Even when going away for a couple days, Beverly always took a few outfits with her for all occasions. Emily was still a little hesitant, but her sister's insistent temperament made it impossible to refuse. If Beverly decided on something, it was almost impossible to change her mind. If Beverly had dyed her locks ash-colored for several years, Emily was still a brunette, preferring her natural hair color. Tousled curls, beautiful dresses, shoes in color, a little provocative makeup. And here were two young, chick girls standing in front of the mirror, ready to plunge into the mean lights of the local club. Two twins, a blonde and a brunette. Two so similar, so different, appearing in the club, they made a sensation among local men. Periodically, men of different ages and nationalities came to the table where the girls were seated. The offers were of different types, from dancing in a cocktail to the possibility of passing the time together. And if Beverly allowed herself some flirting, Emily behaved much more modestly. And yet the amount of drink had taken its toll even on the brunette's demure demeanor. Emily didn't even immediately realize how two guys had ended up at their table. The young men were no more than 25 expensive shirts, gold watches, impeccable appearance. Everything gave away in the representatives of the golden youth. Frequent communication with the opposite sex allowed the guys to easily maneuver in communication with the sisters. Lack of attention from girls guys clearly did not experience. However, the sight of two beautiful twins simply amazed the guys. If Emily was still a little embarrassed, Beverly had been flirting with Matthew, who was sitting next to her. At one point, she even noticed the guy's hand caressing the woman's bare knee. Austin behaved more restrained, but his whole appearance gave away that he wanted to embrace this searing brunette. The guys turned out to be real pickup specialists. Delicious cocktails, lecherous dancing, already with a cloudy drunken look, Emily saw her little sister kissing the skim Matthew. She herself was sitting in the arms of Austin, who was almost unceremoniously fondling her breast through the thin material of her dress. There was no longer any possibility or desire to resist. Malai seemed to fall slightly out of reality when she realized that she was driving to an unknown destination in the back seat of a luxury car. Matthew, while driving, was distracted from the road by caressing the leg of Beverly, who was sitting in the front seat. Emily herself was in the arms of the other guy, who had already run his hand over the elastic band of her panties, trying to get to her innermost parts. If the given for Beverly was in the order of things, and she felt at ease in such a situation, for Emily caresses with another man were taboo. But alcohol, offenses against her husband, the charm of young men turned the girl's head. Completely without understanding herself, Emily felt some incomprehensible passion and lust. And then there was a luxurious apartment, beautiful interior, delicious alcohol, funny stories of guys. Emily didn't even immediately realize how she was alone with Austin. The lights were dimmed in the room, light music was playing. The guy's lips were literally fluttering over the cute face, thin shoulders, beautiful hands. Emily felt a real relaxation. The girl literally gave herself to the lips and hands of this handsome man. If she were sober, she would have turned around and left this apartment long ago. However, the obstacle created by alcohol did not let her do it. Emily was completely in the power of a new acquaintance. After an hour of violent games, the girl lay exhausted. Fatigue was taking its toll. Eyelids became heavy, and Emily fell into a deep sleep. The girl was not destined to sleep long. After a while, Emily was awakened by her little sister, who shook her by the shoulder. Beverly had already cleaned herself up a bit. "Yes, sis, you're a hot mess," Beverly said, smiling. Emily was actually lying completely naked with her makeup rubbed off and her hair disheveled. Not even in her worst dream could she have imagined such a picture. The alcohol receded a little, and Emily was horrified at what had happened. Quickly collecting themselves, the girls left the apartment, calling a cab on the way. The guys didn't even wake up, or maybe they just didn't show it. Because everything they wanted from these beautiful twins, they got. At home, the girls took turns showering. Emily washed off her makeup, and without getting dressed, she collapsed on the bed. Before her eyes were pictures of the events that had happened. So bring up, Emily began to realize that she had done a foolish thing. However, the past could not be brought back. With remorse, tired from the crazy night, Emily fell asleep for the second time. Her sleep was disturbed by the sound of a key in the keyhole. Emily looked out the window and realized it was long past morning. Emily threw her robe over her naked body and walked out into the hallway. On the threshold stood her husband, and in his hands he held a gorgeous bouquet of royal lilies, Emily's favorite flowers. "Darling, happy anniversary of our life together. I love you so much." The man walked over to his spouse and kissed her gently on the cheek. He then handed Emily a box. Emily, not yet fully awake, opened the box, and it was an amazingly beautiful gold chain with a pendant. The pendant was beautifully engraved with the letters "Most Beloved." On the reverse side, however, a miniature portrait of Emily was engraved by a master's hand. "Darling, you have read the correspondence with the woman who was engaged in making this jewelry. I didn't tell you right away so as not to spoil a surprise. I'm sorry, darling. I really love you." What went through Emily's mind at that moment cannot be put into words. She felt the tender embrace of her beloved and tears rolled from her eyes. Dear friends, thank you very much for watching. Leave comments, put likes, share with friends, and subscribe to the channel.